Waka waka waka, childhood. Yeah, okay. So, growing up, I always felt like I didn't belong to the gender in which I was born into. And it's kind of funny because in Western society, we have this weird, strict dichotomy. You're either pink or you're blue. There is no breaking that gender binary. And from the moment we're born, we don't have a decision in the matter. You're wrapped in a blanket. And the blanket decides what toys you get, how you're socialized, how you interact with other individuals, how you interact with your own family. And all of it is controlled for you. No one says, would you like to be pink or would you like to be blue? All I knew growing up was that, well, boys climbed trees and got dirty, and girls jumped rope, and I really like to stay clean and jump rope. So I never identify with over here. I mostly identify with over here, and growing up, like starting 4th grade, you get, like, you're taught sex ed. Well, it's California, so I presume you get sex ed. Like, none of that abstinence only. So you know, when a man and woman get really drunk, 9 months later, accidents happen. You're told you get hair in funny places, and, like, your voice changes, your body changes, and that's what you have to look forward to, or aren't you lucky? So growing up, like, very naive and idealistic, I figured, well, when I get older, my body will change, and my body did change in all the wrong ways. It was horrifying. And, like, around the adolescent age, like, from, like, 13, 14 on, you learn how to interact with your peers. You learn what dating is. You learn about your sexuality. Like, if you're a straight kid, members of the opposite sex can't sleep over. If you're a gay kid, members of the same sex can't sleep over. Or if you're like me and you're a bisexual kid, no one slept over your house ever. It sucks. Bisexual people, don't choose a side. Just, like, pretend until you're 18, and then you can do what you want. Otherwise, middle school and high school is lonely. Oh my goodness. So it's really weird reconciling your sexuality against a gender identity that you're not even sure of. At the time, I was attracted to men, primarily. I had this thing for straight guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I would find a male relationship, but it would be classified as, I guess it could be classified as homosexual at the time because I still had that sort of male facade. And that wasn't fulfilling. That's not fulfilling at all for any trans women to be in, that male on anatomical male relationship. Because on the one hand, you get the male attention that you've been craving and desiring for a long time, but the way they relate to you is in a completely different way. Gay men tend to like men, and well, not so much. So I spent a lot of my teenage years alone. I was a very depressed child. I was a very precocious child. So I didn't like people my own age. Like, even to this day, people my own age kind of annoy me. Sorry. Nothing against you guys. I just prefer an older crowd, a more mature crowd. So, yeah. I was extremely depressed. I was suicidal. All I knew was that I didn't identify with anything. My family is Sicilian. We're raised Roman Catholic. So suffice to say, I was born with a lot of guilt. Just like, I came into this world with guilt. And my family raised me, underneath the belief, la familia è tutto. The family is everything. And everything you do is for the benefit and the greater good of the family. Like, you adhere to the family dogma. So growing up in a religious household, I was conflicted. Like, I wanted to do right by my family. I tried to be, like, the good little, Catholic girl. But it wasn't working. I had attempted and failed suicide twice. And a friend of mine found out about this camp project that was going on. It was called Unitown/Metrotown, that was being sponsored by GLSEN. It was like this 3-day sort of like camp retreat. Go out there and you learn how to fight all the isms: racism, sexism, heterosexism, all that nice good stuff. So I went out there, and Dee Palazzo, who at the time was the director of GLSEN, the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network, she was teaching workshops on gender and sexuality, and it was for the first time I got to explore that amongst other queer, other like-minded peers, and she was the one that really said, well, there's a word for what you are, you're not alone. And that is a very powerful thing. Like, when you're 15, 16 years old, and you feel like, oh my God, I'm all by myself in the world, I must be some kind of freak because no one else could possibly understand what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, and then to find out that there's a name for it, you at least are like, okay, they didn't create this just for me. Yeah, so go out and find out what you can do about it. And being the geeky kid I am, I went right to interwebs. I went and I Googled everything. TS Roadmaps was just getting started.